Hola, this is your Spanish teacher, Senora Benson, and I am going to be talking about reflexive verbs. This is based on Spanish 2, Quarter 1, Lesson 2.06, Mi Día. And let's begin. So I have a little picture here of a frog getting dressed, and this is an example of a reflexive verb, Froggy se viste. So what exactly are reflexive verbs? Reflexive verbs in Spanish are things that you do to yourself or something that someone does to oneself. When they're not conjugated, they end in se. So some examples that we're learning in Spanish too. Bañarse is to bathe oneself. Ducharse, to shower oneself. Lavarse, to wash oneself. Levantarse, to get oneself up, and cepillarse los dientes, to brush one's teeth. We've actually been using a reflexive verb from really early on. Me llamo means my name is, but it literally means to call oneself. It comes from llamarse. So me llamo la señora Benson means I call myself Senora Benson. So you're probably wondering, how do you conjugate these things? So let's go through a verb together. Let's just use ducharse, which means to shower oneself. So step 1, remove the se. Then that just leaves you with a regular AR or IR or ER verb, which is called an infinitive. Duchar is to shower. Step 2, you conjugate the verb like normal using skills you learned in Spanish 1. So for example, I shower, yo ducho. You shower, tú duchas, etc. Step 3, once you've conjugated the correct ending, you remember that you removed the se and you move it to the front of the conjugated verb. So for example, to say I shower myself, you would say me ducho. So back to this, what we looked at the beginning, vestirse means to get dressed. So what would Froggy se viste translate to? Froggy dresses himself. You try. So this would be a good thing to take a screenshot of, or take out your phone and take a picture of this slide, because it kind of goes through the most important steps you need to remember when conjugating a reflexive verb. So remember, remove the se, conjugate the verb like normal. Then once you've conjugated the correct ending, you remember the se and move it to the front of the conjugated verb. And it'll change to me, te, se, nos, or se. So here's 3 I want you to try. I gave you 3 non-conjugated verbs, so I'm going to give you about 20 seconds. See if you can conjugate them in the correct form, and then the next page we'll check in. All right, let's see how you did. So, you shower, we ignored the se, conjugated duchar to duchas, moved the se to the front and switched it to te duchas. Next, he puts on, ignore the se, conjugate poner to the he form, pone, move the se to the front, se pone. Last, we get dressed, vestirse, ignore the se, conjugate vestir, which is vestimos, move the se to the front, and it becomes nos.